Insomniac Games is one of my favorite game developers of all time, and they have been killing it recently with a series of announcements. One of their recent releases is a game called Song of the Deep, which was actually published by GameStop, of all places. This is, I think, the beginning of their foray into actually seeing a game through all the way to being on store shelves. And if you go into any GameStop or EB Games, you will see tons of Song of the Deep merchandise out there. And I'm sure lots of people have been going in there going, what the heck is this thing all about? What is this game? Well, this is it's kind of an indie game, which is kind of cool. It's definitely a departure from some of the bigger AAA, huge budget-sized Insomniac games that we're kind of used to. One of the ones that's coming up, obviously, is their take on Spider-Man next year, which I can't wait. But Song of the Deep is a lot more personal. It's a lot more intimate. It definitely feels like a smaller team put it together, all of which I applaud. It's about a little girl who loses her father to the fantasy-filled depths of the sea. And he's someone that has been super comfortable on the water, has taught her all kinds of incredible information about how to survive on and in the water, and she takes it upon herself to go and search for her missing father, and encounters all kinds of fantastical things as she pilots her little submarine through lots of different areas within the game. Now, the whole setup and design for this sucker is that it's kind of like a Metroidvania, which is one of the most overused terms in video games these days, and I certainly feel like I've played a ton of Metroidvania games recently, and I gotta tell you, as purely a game construct, as something that is just meant to be sort of, figured out from a puzzle structure and navigating through the maze that the developers have crafted for us, I've played better Metroidvania games as recently as last year with Ori and the Blind Forest. Even Xeodrifter's a little bit more enjoyable for me in terms of a game design, but I did dig the story and the heart and the sort of emotion that's sort of conveyed through this thing. It's a poignant piece, and that's, I think, what really kept me in the game and wanting to go forward, because the game is kind of littered with sort of broken promises, I think. Like, this is something we expect more from Insomniac, and frankly, I kind of expect a bit more from GameStop and all of the billions of dollars that they have to kind of get into this. They're obviously seeing this as an important part of their future as a purveyor of video game entertainment. And I just thought that this maybe needed a little more time to kind of gestate and find a little more polish. There are AI pathfinding things in this game that drove me crazy. You actually at one point have to kind of bring a cuttlefish through a bunch of sort of an enemy that will kill you or paralyze you for a second, so you have to sort of grab a glow ball and have this cuttlefish follow you through. And I got to a point in the game that was just so damn frustrating. I actually just said, screw this, and I had to walk away and take a breath. I didn't rage quit, I didn't throw a controller across the screen, but it was just really not cool, and definitely not expected from a developer with as much pedigree as Insomniac. And then there are other instances as well. I got to this point in the game where I was being chased by a bunch of red squid through this maze, and I had to navigate it as quickly as possible. There were spinning rotors and electricity to avoid. Of course, those damn anemone, I think they were my biggest enemies, my nemesis in this game. But you had to navigate things as quickly as possible while this collection of invulnerable red squid was following me. Are they squids? Anyways, they're chasing after me. I was going crazy, and all you had to do was kind of flick between different weapon types. You have, the prerequisite freeze bombs, and you have the lava magna bombs, and then you have the electricity bombs, useful in different scenarios. And I just was having the damnedest time just trying to flick through my magna bomb and my ice bomb to navigate through different obstructions in a fast way. And what drove me crazy is the first time I was challenged with this scenario, I was able to get to almost the end, and I thought, okay, I got this figured out. Then I proceeded to die 20 times over because just the act of flicking to the right weapon with my right thumbstick wasn't sticking, and I would flick to the ice bomb and it would flick up to the electricity, and I would get crushed by these red squid creatures over and over and over, and I was just getting so angry, and I just felt like that kind of stuff was avoidable, and that kind of stuff could have been polished and tuned. It should have been incredibly effortless and just super fun to flick between the weapon types. And that's just one of the specifics. There are some issues with geometry collision and stuff throughout this game. Everything looks beautifully hand-drawn and really well illustrated, but it's not the most organically or wonderfully animated. You'll see little seahorses and things like that just look like they were literally just grabbed and slid across the screen as opposed to gracefully moving through. I mean, we've seen 2D design like this with pixel art that has looked really, really graceful and beautiful for many years. I mean, you can look at even the core Mega Man games, and obviously the Mario stuff. There's tons and tons of examples, and Metroid and Castlevania, the games that this one so closely resembles in terms of design construct. We have seen pixel art do this kind of stuff better in terms of animation and fluidity and precision, and that was a little disconcerting. And it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I think that's, a lot of the design work is just something to behold, especially all of the colors and all of the variety as you move around from one section of the world to another section of the world. There are some warp points and stuff like that too, so you don't have to kind of retraverse everything all the way through over and over again. You are going to have to retraverse because just like any Metroid or Castlevania game, you get augmented with lots of cool new weapons and abilities. Lots of great design in this, and frankly, I love the fact that I'm playing as a little girl, chasing her father, got me right there. I also love the fact that I'm piloting a submarine. Submarines are so damn cool. I also like the storytelling and the Irish narrator that brings us into this story.
She showed Merrin a shimmering image of a tall tower beneath the sea.
There's a lot of heart, man. There's a lot of real sort of love that has gone into this thing, and it kind of breaks my heart that I didn't enjoy the game experience more. I felt like this was just not up to par and not the best of these 2D, Metroidvania experiences, and frankly, it's 2016, so I think we can expect a little bit more from that, and it's also Insomniac, so I think we can expect a little bit more from them. I'm going to give Song of the Deep a 6 out of 10. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.